pretty amazing. He was involved in a lot that we never knew. How many people would forfeit having Christmas with their own family to deliver toys to the kids that didn't have any? And he did this every year. Their attic throughout the year was filled with toys so we could do that on Christmas. He was the biggest, he had this biggest, deepest laugh. He was a little bit of a prankster. He's a bit of a prankster. Him and I were the closest in the family, even though we had 2 older sisters, and then him, and then a brother, and then me, and then another sister. But him and I were the closest. I went out to visit him right, I think before he got married to his wife, and got to experience Kentucky with him, and everybody knew him. Everybody knew Joe. Everywhere we went, everybody knew Joe. And that's now passed on to me. Everybody knows me where I go. He was, it's tough. It's been since 2004, and I miss when he used to call and just say, "What's going on?" That was his, "What's going on?" Just checking in. And when we were down on Long Island on 9/11, he was more worried about us than anything, because he thought we had flown to Long Island and we drove. You know, when someone's got the personality of the world, you miss them. He was involved with fire department, sheriff's department, and coroner all at the same time. He gave me away at my wedding. And at the reception afterwards, he would wear the T-shirt with the 2-foot, you know, the big letters on the back that say coroner. And I had to tell him, "We go take off the shirt, you're scaring everybody." But he would love it, because everywhere we went, the people would just clear a path, because when you see them, and he loved that. And he must have had 200 of those coroner T-shirts, my sister-in-law told me after the fact. But he loved that. He loved attention. I think everybody loves a little attention, but he loved a little bit more than most. It's just, we had fun wherever we went, whatever we did. We always had fun. We always ended up laughing about, no matter what the situation was, we always ended up laughing. Just like now, he's up there probably saying, "What are you doing?" But because of the way he was involved in a lot of charity work, I've picked that up. I definitely see aspects of my career and my involvement with the fire service. He's right there with me all the time. I still have, the last time I talked to him, gave me his cell phone number on my whiteboard at home. That was March 28th of 2004. It's still written on my whiteboard. It'll never come off at this point, I don't think. But he was something. You know, he was something, and it's a big chunk. And some days it's funny, and some days it's good, and some days, you know, something will just be like, "Ooh, here it comes." His youngest son was 8 when he passed, and his oldest was 13. And now his youngest is now in junior fire academy, wants to go take fire science in college. And his oldest is now a teacher in inner city Baltimore. So pretty good. I'm really proud of him. Really, really proud of him. Good kids. My sister-in-law is remarried, and I'm happy for her too. I'm really happy, and a lot of changes, but it's all good. And I know he's happy too. I know he is. I knew one would. The first time I saw him in bunker gear was tough. But he absolutely is my brother. He's so into the fire science, and he's already, you know, he's his last year of high school. He's all talking about college and what he wants to take, and he's gung-ho, and it's really good. And I knew one of them would. He was gung-ho when he was 8, but he's just, it's phenomenal. It's really pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Will we worry about him? Sure. Will he succeed at it? Absolutely. His sense of humor and his charitable bloodline, or however to say it. A lot of people didn't know that side of him. in the family, we really didn't even know that side of him until when I traveled out to his wake, and to see 5,200 people in the middle of, basically in the middle of the country, come from everywhere. The fire community sending 2 officers from every community out there. He was private to an extent, but people all get to that. Joe did that, Joe did that, Joe was involved in that, Joe did that. It was pretty amazing to have, and then to think, while he was really important, to have that many people show up, and to have a missing man formation, and to have the bagpiper. And it's for him now that has my love for bagpipe music, because I never even heard bagpipes before, and now I drive my friends crazy because I love bagpipes because of this. But it's because of losing one. I have thousands now. I have probably 20 or 30,000 wherever I go. I know I have brothers that can go to a firehouse. I don't worry. I travel alone a lot. I don't worry, because he's carrying this on for me. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I know he's looking down, he's probably saying, all right. It's pretty cool. This is my 3rd year here. It's only my 2nd year returning after the initial honoring year. The initial honoring year, you probably know from other survivors, you don't really remember that initial honoring year. It's a blur. My 1st year back was last year, and to be honest, it was very, very, very difficult. I wanted to go home before things even started. But a few of the honor guards down here spoke to me, no, you need to stay, and I'm glad I stayed, because I met a new family as they were in the lobby of the other hotel in the complex, and we know the new families because of the blue lanyards, and I stopped to talk to them, and they were so appreciative of that, just little, are you doing okay, that they found me over when we went to the academy on Sunday after the memorial, and they found me out of all the thousands of people that we had that day. They found me to thank me. And now that new family, she's here for her first time this year, so I kind of told her, like, if you are having a hard time with this, come find me and we'll go and talk. But I've been able to help the new families because I know, especially the ones that have lost a brother, I know that aspect. But we do what we can do because it's only fair. If you give to people, you get it back tenfold. Plain and simple. One of the funniest, best stories that sticks in my mind about my brother is one of his favorite things to eat, and it sounds gross, but it's not too bad. It's a biscuit grilled with a plain sausage patty and grape jelly. He used to get this at this, don't make that face, he used to get it at this diner back at where he lived all the time, and after he passed, they put it on the menu and called it a Joe biscuit. So now every year when I've come out here, I go to one of the local restaurants and I say, this is what I want, and it's grilled biscuit, plain sausage patty, grape jelly on the side. It's the salt and sweet together, and that's a Joe biscuit. I advise you to try it sometime. The fire service is such a small world. My husband jokes and says, you can't take step 2 feet without hitting a firefighter. And I said, that's how it is. Everybody's connected. I met a firefighter from Chicago he came out, we lost a firefighter in Worcester, Mass. a couple of years ago. He came out from Chicago for that, needed a ride from Boston to Worcester, and Noe responded to his plea online, so I said, I'll come get you. I live right near the airport, and we didn't know each other at all. I stood there with a sign, Chicago Fire Department. He got in my car, he made fun of my accent all the way to Worcester. We became friends. When he was about to retire, friends of his out there hired me to come out and photograph his retirement party, and then it ended up he ran into one of my friends from here. It's more interconnected than you can imagine. And being in the fire service, you don't want for anything. You don't have to worry about traveling. That's a big thing because I travel a lot. I don't worry about anything. I travel a lot alone. If anything happens, stop at a firehouse. Plain and simple. And I don't, a lot of times getting introduced as survivor out of the box, sometimes it bothers me. I'd like that to come out in the conversation later on, but you know, I'm proud to have the decals on my car and the fallen firefighter license plate. I'm proud because that's for him.